Hello, everybody, and welcome to CCCLXVI, the podcast where we talk about two movies and a bunch of things that aren't movies, because we're lazy and we can't be bothered to watch movies now. So, this week we watched some movies, then we also watched a lot of things that aren't movies, but we're going to review them anyways, because we don't have enough to talk about a full episode. That's pretty much what happened this week, right, Benji?
Yeah.
So, yeah. First movie we watched this week was The Godfather. It's The Godfather. If you haven't seen The Godfather, then, well, you must not watch that many movies, or, I don't know, I mean, just haven't gotten around to it yet. I can see, like, you not seeing The Godfather, actually. It's, like, a very classic movie, and lots of people haven't seen classic movies. I mean, there's some girl in my class who hasn't even seen Star Wars, and that's a lot more, I'm a lot more shocked at that. So, anyways, it's The Godfather. I mean, Godfather's one of the greatest films ever made, right, Benji? I mean...
Yep.
It's in my top 10. Is it in yours?
Well, kind of, yeah.
You don't have a top 10. I have a top 10 that I'm gonna probably do at the end, at the last episode of CCCLXVI. I'm gonna go through my top 10 because, you know, that's just sort of like, I'm gonna be able to review it, but I don't want to give off my top 10 now because then it's gonna change and all that. So, The Godfather is one of the greatest films ever made, in almost everyone's opinion. It's great. I love it. It has fantastic acting, fantastic directing, fantastic screenplay. All the shots are amazing. It's just amazing. And I'm just going to say, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. You'd give it a 10 out of 10, right, Benji?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I love crime, gangster-type films, and this is the best crime film ever, in many people's opinions, and it's The Godfather. I love The Godfather. Do you not love The Godfather? Because, I don't know. I mean, some people don't like The Godfather.
I love The Godfather.
I love The Godfather. It's great. I mean, it's really hard to talk about The Godfather because, I mean, it's just so talked about and stuff, and I don't know. I like it. Chances are that you probably like it as well. So, that's The Godfather. The second movie we watched this week...
We rated that a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, we both gave it a 10 out of 10. It's great. It won Best Picture. It won 3 Oscars. I'd definitely recommend you watch it. It's The Godfather. Come on, it's The Godfather. I mean, it's the number 2 movie on the Internet Movie Database Top 250. It's just a ton of people's favorite movie ever. But yeah, it's The Godfather. Love it. Love The Godfather. So the next movie we said we're going to do an interesting fact about all these movies. I can't do an interesting fact about all these, but I have an interesting fact about The Godfather, is that this might be the first, I read somewhere that it was the first Best Picture winner to have an Academy Award in it. And I'm pretty sure that's Francis Ford Coppola's, I can never pronounce his last name, Academy Award for Writing Patton, which we're going to watch eventually, I hope. Right, Benji?
Yeah.
You even know what that movie is?
And it's got George C. Scott, I think.
That's actually a lot more than I thought you knew about it. Congratulations, Benji.
Let's just always talk about, like, oh, we need to watch Patton.
Yes, that's how George C. Scott won his Oscar. Another weird thing is that both of those things were written by Francis Ford Coppola, and both of the things, they both won main actor, or lead actor in a leading role, best actor in a leading role. Yeah, there we go, that's the name of it. And both of the times they were refused, so that's another interesting thing. So, yes. On to the next movie we watched this week was Zootopia, the most current movie on our list, because it came out like a couple days ago. And what were your thoughts on Zootopia, Benji?
It did honestly come out a couple days ago.
I think it came out like this month, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, not 2 days ago, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, this isn't a thought, it's just something that was in the movie. They had a reference to The Godfather. Well, not really a reference, it was more of there was a character in it, Mr. Big, and he is kind of like, what's his name?
Don Vito Corleone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was not really a reference, but, I mean, it is a reference, but it's not like a hidden reference. I mean, it's so overtly referencing The Godfather. It's basically just copying it, you know? And it's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Zootopia's a pretty good movie. I mean, it's a kid's film, but not really. I mean, it's sort of disguised as a kid's film, but at the same time, it's very much a kid's film. Would I recommend you go see it? Yes, I would recommend you go see it. It's really entertaining and enjoyable. It's also it's not like there's anything offensive in it or anything. Unlike The Godfather, which is pretty violent, this movie isn't violent. It's a kids' film.
Well, it's a kids' movie.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah. If you have children, then I definitely recommend you go watching this film. I enjoyed it, and my brother did not enjoy it. He cried during it, but that tends to happen a lot. Not Benji, my younger brother. He watched this movie, and he cried, but he also did that. He does that with most animated films that we go to see, right?
Like an Inside Out?
Yeah, at the beginning of 2001, when the apes are beating each other to death, he's dying laughing.
He's...
Okay. But Zootopia, we haven't talked about the movie yet. Zootopia is pretty good. I enjoyed it. It has a very strong social commentary on racism. That's, like, not hidden at all. It's so blatantly a social commentary on racism. And I understand why they did that. It's a movie for kids, but still, I mean, you didn't have to make that. It's so obvious.
So they disguise it. You say, like, it's not, well, they disguise it as, like, predators and prey, and they disguise it as how, like, the prey are treating...
The prey are basically the white people, and the predators are basically the black people.
Yeah, that's what they're
doing. Saying, yeah. It's pretty blatantly talking about racism. So, yeah, it was pretty good in that regard. Some complaints I have with it is, well, I don't know, I just feel like the whole, Gazelle character was really just sort of thrown in there so that way they could get a song, and I can't remember anything from the song. So, yeah, that's the thing, is they threw in an entire character just to get a song, and I can't even remember what the song was.
I don't even know what song you're talking about.
And a bit of a spoiler alert here if you haven't seen the movie yet, but there's a sort of fake out, but it makes it so obvious that there's going to be a fake out, and people will defend this saying,
"Oh, they're eating blueberries throughout this entire
Benji,
thing."
You're spoiling it. But people will defend this saying, "Oh,
well,
well,
you
gotta."
Said spoiler alert.
I did say spoiler alert, but still, I don't want to spoil it for them. I mean,
okay, no, I'm just kidding. There's no blueberries.
There's blueberries, but it gets to a point where you're like, "Oh yeah," but I totally saw it from a mile away, and. So did Benji, I think. He might be lying, but I trust him. I believe him. I believe him. But, and people will defend this saying, oh, well, they gotta make sure that children, because it's a children's film. But the point of a fake out is to fake out your audience, so don't give them hints. You gotta give them some hints, so that way they'll realize it, but you don't give them too many hints. I mean, like, maybe, like, have, like, as you said, it involves blueberries, so have, like, a scene with blueberries, like, maybe 10 minutes before. But right before it happens, they, like, spill blueberries. They're like, hey, guys, remember we had blueberries? You could just make them remember the blueberries later, but, yeah. So that was another one of my problems with that. But it was pretty good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. The whole, like, them trying to figure out, like, the logic of a world filled with animals. We haven't really discussed what the movie is. I don't know. It's relatively recent, so you probably have seen a trailer for it or whatever. But basically, it's about
it's the trailer with the sloth in it.
Yeah, it's basically just about what if the world was animals, and what I really like is how they deal with the logic of how these animals would be living in this world. Like they try to think of what would or how they would get like mouses and giraffes to both live in the same world, and they have sort of like different sort of parts and stuff. It's really interesting, and that's probably was my favorite part of that. Another thing is they totally should have gotten Steve Buscemi to play the weasel. I mean, once again, Steve Buscemi should totally have been cast as a role in an animated film. Fantastic Mr. Fox is another example of that. He probably, in my opinion, could have played the rat. Although, I don't know. I mean, but the weasel was definitely more of a Steve Buscemi role than the rat in Fantastic Mr. Fox, which I don't remember if I talked about wanting to cast Steve Buscemi as the rat in that. But he definitely should have been the weasel, at least in my opinion. It sounded a lot like him too, which might have been why it was actually played.
Like, did they purposely try to get a guy? Oh, I wish we had Steve Buscemi. I got it. Let's
just get a guy who sounds like Steve Buscemi, or make him sound like Steve Buscemi, because that's not what he normally sounds like. I don't think. I mean, he was King Candy and the Duke of Wesselton as well, the guy who voiced him, and he's also in some other movies. Uh-huh. He was Wash in Firefly. That guy, yeah. I'm a leaf on the wind. Third, this isn't a movie, it's a TV show, but fudge you, that's why we did it. And this is why we didn't have movies, but we're going to talk about this. This is the 1967 TV show, The Prisoner, and starring Patrick McGoohan and the short butler dude. It's pretty good. I can't really talk about it for very long because, we haven't seen all of it yet, which I know we shouldn't be reviewing it, but we've seen most of it, and we really enjoy it, and if we didn't talk about this, then we wouldn't have enough time to have a full show. Right, Benji? Do you get why?
Yes.
This is basically why we're reviewing this. But I enjoy it.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on The Prisoner, Benji?
What's my opinion on The Prisoner? Well, I like it. I think it's kind of like I like the story. I think the story's pretty special. Like, I probably couldn't have thought of the story. It's kind of like The Truman Show. Kind of. But not really at all.
Sort of. I mean, it's a very interesting concept, and it's also a very, interesting TV show to watch, and I definitely recommend you watch it. Patrick McGoohan is great. All these things are great. I don't want to talk about it, though, because unlike most of these other things, I would think that a majority of people haven't watched this. So I don't want to give too many spoilers about it. But Patrick, and also, everything we say may or may not actually be true, because we don't know. It's a lot of it is up to interpretation, which is why you might like it, is because it's very personalizable, personal. Yeah. Sort of like The Usual Suspects, how you can make it your own sort of story. And that's, you can interpret different things in different ways. It's very interesting. Definitely recommend you watch it. So yeah, I'm giving Zootopia a 8.5 out of 10, because we forgot to rate that. What would you give Zootopia out of 10, Benji?
A 9 out of 10.
Okay, what would you give The Prisoner out of 10?
Prisoner out of 10, a 10 out of 10.
Same. It's probably my favorite TV show so far, but we have only seen the beginning, and lots of people have remarked about The Prisoner is that once you get towards the end, it gets worse. So I don't know. That rating might go down. Once we finish it, we're going to finish our review of The Prisoner, and so that also gives you some time to watch The Prisoner. It probably won't be next episode, but the episode after that, maybe even farther. I don't know, actually. But, yeah. So, the next movie wasn't really a movie. It was a 4-minute and 15-second short film. And the only reason we're counting this is because we made it. And it's The Bounty.
Yep.
And you can't see it. So you're going to have to take our word for it that it's the greatest movie ever made. The acting is stellar. It has such a high-quality production value. It's actually not very good. But I enjoyed it. It's very fun to watch. It was directed and written by my 6-year-old brother. So that gives you an idea of the quality of it. It's actually surprisingly well done. We had a nice camera and everything, and we had a little bit of props and stuff, and the acting wasn't the greatest, but I enjoyed it. I'd like to talk a bit more about it as well, sort of like The Prisoner, but once again, unlike The Prisoner, which I don't want to spoil it, it's just, you can't watch it, so there's no real point in reviewing it, but we made this. I don't know, we might upload it to YouTube, right, Benji? We should make, a CCCLXVI YouTube channel or something.
Yeah, we could.
We could post the videos, post the podcast 10 episodes behind. Do you get what I'm referencing there?
Yes.
What am I referencing?
Hello, Internet?
Yeah, okay.
Is it that what they
do? Yeah, they have a YouTube channel where they upload the podcasts that they do 10 episodes behind, and they also have some other special things. So we might upload the bounty to that. But I'd recommend, if you somehow get the chance to watch it, I'd watch it. It's only 4 minutes, and you'll only have to suffer through it for 4 minutes. And I don't know. I find it at least a little bit entertaining and fun. So yeah.
You say suffer through it. I mean, you're not gonna not like it. You're gonna laugh at some parts.
I mean, it's funny, and it's just sort of laughably just, I don't know. It's great. There's many parts that you laugh out because they're not the best. And I don't want to insult it, because, I mean, I made it, and I don't want to insult it, because, I don't know, I was by far the best part of it, in my opinion. Who was the best part of it in your opinion, Benji?
I was totally the best part of it. I was the best actor in that entire thing.
Yeah. Okay, and so we're gonna move on to our last movie, or short film, as well.
No, either way, we're gonna talk about
We're gonna talk
the
about...
characters, like the bad stuff that the characters did.
Okay, we can't talk about that because I haven't seen the movie. Dang it.
Fine.
Okay, but what would you give this out of 10? I'd give this a 8 out of 10 because it's short and I like it and it holds a sort of special place in my heart because I made it. And, I enjoyed it.
I'd totally give it a 10 out of 10.
Okay.
I'd give it a 10 out of 10 because I made it.
Yeah, because I made it. That's why.
And because it's the best movie ever made.
Oh, that too, yeah. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10, though, because, I don't want them to feel too bad about the fact that they're not going to be able to watch it. And by the way, it is not The Bounty with Mel Gibson or whatever. There's lots of other movies with the name The Bounty, but this is The Bounty, so, yeah. And then the last movie we watched was We Can't Live Without Cosmos, a Russian short film.
That's a short film.
And, oh my god, I almost cried, which is just really,
I humoured myself through it, like, Like, I made, like, funny jokes in my head because I was like, this is sad.
It really is sad. I definitely recommend you watch it, though. It's very well made. I haven't seen any of the other Oscar short film contenders from this year, so I can't judge it on that, but I'd say We Can't Live Without Cosmos is fantastic, and I definitely recommend you watch it, and it's really good. Should it have won? I'm going to say yes, but that's only because I haven't seen anything else. But I like it. You liked it. It's very sad. It's very deep and moving. It's about two sort of good friends that might be brothers. That picture with both of them.
I think they're brothers.
Yeah, I think they might be brothers, but that just might be us doing this because, we're brothers and stuff. And so, yeah, but they're good friends, and then one of them gets selected to go up into space, and the other one is the reserve astronaut.
Don't tell them about the stuff that happens.
And then, as you can imagine, it's in space, and it's sad, so what do you think happens? And they're best friends. So yeah, that's been all of these. Yeah, I enjoyed all these. I enjoyed all these movies. I'd recommend...
Oh, no.
What?
We don't have a quote.
We don't have a quote. I'm gonna make a monopoly you can't refuse.
Okay, ready? We got it, but
no, you
right
say
now,
it. I already said it. Now you gotta say it. You gotta say it.
I'm gonna make him an offer. What?
Say it.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can now refuse.
Okay, so this has been Hello Internet. Not Hello Internet, CCCLXVI. We were talking about that earlier this episode. I'm gonna try to edit that out. Probably won't. Now that I've mentioned editing it out, I can't edit it out. Anyways, this has been CCCLXVI episode 11. We'll see you all next time, I hope. Bye.
Be seeing you.
Be seeing you. Oh, that's what we should have done.